Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains episode review. This time we will be going over episode 55 of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains. Generally speaking, what did I think about this episode? I enjoyed it. I already did a live reaction to it. That's already up on the channel. If you want to check that out, I will link it down below, and I've had some time to kind of sit on this episode a bit. I rewatched it, and I genuinely did enjoy it. We have the Wind IGNIS, which gave himself the name Windy, make his debut. We met Echo, who's just the program that carries around Windy. We don't know. Also, leave your predictions on who you think the Wind IGNIS's holder could be. We know Echo is kind of a program that's designed to be a humanoid figure that is holding Windy, but all that Echo does, Windy sounds like a girl name, doesn't it? It really sounds like a girl's name. That's why I keep getting confused that Windy is not the girl IGNIS. We have not met her yet. But Echo is just a character that keeps repeating everything that Windy says. Doesn't think for himself, as I guess most artificial intelligence, they don't think for themselves. The IGNIS are just kind of a special case, and Windy clearly likes that. He's cut off from everyone, and that kind of makes me think it's Jin's IGNIS, because he's secluded himself from the world, very similar to how Jin secluded himself from the world, but his maybe distrust towards humans, because he even says to I and Flame in this episode, he tries to get them to leave Soulburner and Playmaker. He says, you know what, forget the humans, let's just rebuild the Cyberse world. I have no interest in helping out humans. So that anti-human sentiment is very similar to Spectre's anti-human sentiment, right? Spectre hates humans. They destroyed his tree. He feels that adults and humans are just a horrible plague on society, or whatever he said, you know, back in the 30s, which hopefully he reappears soon. So there were those two big themes with this Wind IGNIS, and I could see him being either or Spectre or Jin's holder. Now, it doesn't mean that his traits are going to be similar to his Lost Incident victim's traits, because Playmaker and I are very opposite. You could even say Flame and Soulburner are pretty opposite, so it doesn't mean, you know, we're not trying to match Windy's personality to Spectre or Jin's or the other mystery guy that we still don't know. I mean, I thought Bowman could have been the Wind IGNIS because they both have that mark on them, right? They both have that very similar symbol. So, and that leads to another theory that some people were saying Windy could be brainwashed, and I did get some weird vibes from him, but I feel like he's probably not. He does get them to try to take down Playmaker, or not Playmaker, Blue Girl and Ghost Girl, which I don't think is because he knows that they are kind of on the good team. They're also looking for the IGNIS. They're also looking for the Wind IGNIS in this case. Well, actually, I'm completely wrong. I'm completely wrong about that. Sorry, guys. Looking at this picture, it's actually the yellow IGNIS that has that same diamond shape as Bowman and Hal. I apologize. It's not Windy. Windy is the green IGNIS. So that, I think, further confirms Windy probably does not have any connection to Bowman, if Bowman even is one of those Lost Incident victims, or Hal is. And again, we're assuming that because of that very similar symbol. That is on the yellow IGNIS, which is still unnamed, the light attribute IGNIS. So the Windy is probably not associated with... Windy is going to be Spectre or Jin. I'd bet a lot of money on that. And which one is it? Well, I'll leave that for you to decide. I'll probably have maybe even a poll up in the top right corner for you guys to vote on. So I don't think he's under any sort of brainwashing or anything like that, but he did seem very distant, and we've already kind of seen definitely the most anti-human IGNIS in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains, and does that mean that Kogami's prediction of the IGNIS destroying humanity maybe is going to come true? I mean, obviously, one of the IGNIS already has some kind of resentment towards humans, or some kind of distrust or mistrust, or even just looking down upon them as seeing them as not as intelligent beings as his own type. So we will see. We're going to see what happens with that. But Windy, definitely very, very interesting. I also like how he's an absolute troll, how he had the same monster that destroyed the Cyberse world, and Flame and Soulburner and Playmaker and I all thought that this was the monster about to destroy the Wind IGNIS's world and the little area that he created, and Windy starts laughing hysterically. So that was kind of funny, a little Vector-esque there with the trolling. So funny trolling job there, which is the other thing. Then the trolling attribute definitely fits Spectre way more than it does Jin. So then again, we don't really know much about Jin, right? We don't know much about Jin, but Windy succeeds in his mission of drawing out Playmaker and Soulburner, trying to find the other IGNIS. In the meantime, we have Ghost Girl and Blue Girl, who are trying to find this IGNIS as well and bring them back to Akira. And I thought the development for Blue Girl and for Akira, for the Zaizens in this episode, was great. Immediately they enter the wind tunnel, and Blue Girl gets thrown from her board and probably would die, or at least be knocked unconscious if Ghost Girl doesn't save her. Emma saves her. They go into a cave, and they find the signal of the research team. It's 2 people of this research team that got completely overwhelmed by the wind, that got taken out by the wind, and Blue Girl says, "We have to save them." And Emma's like, our job really isn't to save. It's funny because, again, Ghost Girl, I feel like both of these characters are going to do really good things for each other, and hopefully we see that going forward. Where Ghost Girl, in terms of maybe doing the ethical thing, was always maybe a 1 out of 10. Her attribute there is a 1 out of 10 in doing the ethical thing and doing what's right. Whereas Blue Girl, Aoi, is more of a 9 out of 10, but being the independent woman that, you know, we want her to be and that she needs to be is maybe a 1 or 2 out of 10. Whereas for Emma, that's a 9 or 10 out of 10. You know, they both have pros and cons that they can kind of trade off each other and work off each other. And Blue Girl, just to, you know, exemplify that, she convinces Emma, she convinces Ghost Girl to use her emergency escape program on one of the 2 rescuees. The speech she gave was great, talking about how she has to save other people. Remember, she's gone through a very interesting character development here. She, at the very beginning, she dueled for people. She dueled for mass appeal. She dueled for her brother's appreciation. Then when the Vira incident happened, she didn't want to duel anymore. She wanted to duel for herself. She wanted to duel for just her. She didn't care about appeasing other people anymore, except maybe her brother. And Emma was the one who kind of snapped her out of that, who said, well, if you don't want to duel for other people anymore, you shouldn't even bother going into the VRains. And she, you know, she says that with a cunning smile on her face, because she knows that's going to be counterintuitive. And it's not like she doesn't want Aoi to duel anymore. She wanted Aoi to duel. She wanted Aoi to face up against Vira, and that's exactly what happens. And Aoi saves everyone, and she realizes that dueling for other people maybe isn't a bad thing. And now she's at a point where she feels guilty that everyone had to save her and that she couldn't hold up against Spectre. She couldn't stand up to Spectre, which I would love a Blue Girl Spectre rematch, and I pray to God that we will get one at some point during the show. And she feels guilty. Very similar to what happened to My Valentine after she lost to Marek. Remember, she went through the whole Seal of Orichalcos arc where she joined that team. She joined Doma, and that was because she didn't have friends and she lost all trust in people. Very similar thing could have happened to Blue Girl as what happened to Mai in the very first Yu-Gi-Oh! But because Aoi has a great support system in Akira, because Aoi now has, you could say, a pretty good friend in Ghost Girl and Emma, she has people in her life that were there to pick her up. Mai didn't. And so she realizes that, and she realizes now she has to repay the favor and help out other people. And it was one of the most selfless, ethical, noble things we've seen a character do in VRains, where she sacrifices her own emergency escape program just to send these 2 people who she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know anything about these people, just that they are research people and they need help, just to get them out of the VRains. And Akira, my goodness, if this happened in Season 1, well, first of all, he wouldn't have even let Aoi get anywhere near this situation. But if this happened in Season 1, he would have flipped. He would have been like, why did you use this program? He would have started panicking. Hayami comes in and tells Akira, and he immediately knew that Aoi and Emma used their programs on them, and he did not have any regrets or remorse about it. He said, I trust you, Aoi. I know you did the right thing. Just please come home safely. And he stayed very calm, and that just shows how much he's even developed, not only as a character, but as a caring and respectful older brother. And so the Zaizens, I thought, were great in this episode, and even Ghost Girl giving up her own emergency escape program just to let one of these rescuees, which she never would have even considered doing had Blue Girl not been there and convinced her to do it. So Ghost Girl, you can see a little development there, and I like how she even said, I'm charging Akira extra for the maintenance fee, or the extra like watch over fee, which was kind of funny, just referencing how she really needs to keep more of an eye on Aoi than she initially intended. I mean, she wouldn't have even bothered with that emergency signal if it was just her. The episode concludes with Soulburner and Blue Girl about to face off. Soulburner, Playmaker, Blue Girl, and Ghost Girl all have some nice interaction where Soulburner says, I guess they didn't send just the rough bounty hunters. Maybe a little flirtatious line there, and Emma was like, well, you didn't expect us to be so beautiful? And Flame, Soulburner's IGNIS, is just like, well, we didn't call you beautiful. And Emma's just like, man, IGNIS are just not attracted to me. That was a really funny line. And Blue Girl went from a good cop, bad cop real quick. Like, at first she tried to just say, like, hey, we want to help you, give them to Soul Tech. We're best equipped to take care of the IGNIS. And then once Playmaker and Soulburner refused, then she was like, all right, well, they were originally Soul Tech property, so I'm going to have to confiscate them from you. I mean, really turned the switch very, very quick, did a complete 180, Blue Girl, and Soulburner says, all right, I'll take you on. I'd love to duel the idol of Link VRains. And just like he dueled Go and beat Go, who was his own idol, now he's dueling the idol of Link VRains, which is Blue Girl Aoi's Eisen. And I'm hoping somehow there's some kind of curveball that comes and Blue Girl is able to pull out the win, because someone commented this in my last video, and I love this phrase, the IGNIS clause. As long as the IGNIS clause exists, whenever a duel takes place that an IGNIS is on the line, the IGNIS user is going to win that duel. That needs to end soon. These duels are becoming very predictable, and it's kind of disappointing that Soulburner is running roughshod through all of the Season 1 characters. He needs to lose to Blue Girl or to someone very soon, and the same with Playmaker. That's how I feel about it. Hopefully it happens. Blue Girl says she upgraded her Trickstar deck. Maybe she'll be using Trickstar Sky Strikers now. I know they're like the big meta deck right now, so that'd be kind of funny if she utilizes that. She probably won't, but it'll be interesting to see her upgraded deck. And I love how Kusanagi in the preview narrating it says the legend of the Blue Legend continues, or the story of Blue Legend continues, something like that. So the fact that he called her a Blue Legend, that was kind of funny. Obviously those narrations aren't canon or anything, but still, that was kind of cool. So I'm very excited for the duel between Blue Girl and Soulburner. Playmaker D-wheels off. Emma tries to follow him. We don't know if Emma would have engaged in a duel with him. I really don't think she would have, but IGNIS, the Eye, was not going to find out either way. He creates a mini data storm, pushing Ghost Girl back, letting Playmaker escape. So I imagine Playmaker is going to investigate that strange new world that might be within this world, kind of getting a little Inception-esque here, but we will just have to wait and see what Playmaker finds and to see how this next duel plays out. But anyway, guys, very, very excited to hear from all of you. Please leave all your thoughts and predictions on this episode down below in the comment section. Really looking forward to talking to you all. Special thanks to my Platinum tier patrons Alexa Baker, Christopher, Johannes, Bouska, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, D01, and James Rose, and a special thanks to my Diamond tier patrons Soledsnak and bouldergeist. Thank you so much to everyone who supports me over on Patreon, and thank you so much for just watching my videos. Would not be here without you guys. I will talk to you down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.